Yo, it's your boy Uncle Pre with another episode of the Unfiltered podcast. Stop smiling at me like this, girl. She's just ruining the intro. This week I've got Dulari on. How you doing, lovely?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. For those who don't know, we know each other from uni. When I was in my first year, she was in her final year. She was a bit mean back then. Well, she wasn't mean. She was lovely, but yeah.
I just kept you in check.
She kept me in check. Me and the rest of the squad. But no, thank you for coming through. It's been a long time coming to try and get an episode in.
I don't actually know the last time I saw you.
Probably your final year, my first year. I don't think I saw you after that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
You probably saw Shyam.
Yeah, so, well, I came up in when we applied for Hindu Soc, and then when we got in, don't know how that worked out, how I didn't get president there, just saying. A lot of politics went on behind the scenes, okay?
It wasn't anything to do with me.
Oh, yeah, I bet not. We had to come to Leicester for an event, for National Hindu Soc event.
Oh, yeah.
And so I stayed the night at Sham's and Kish's.
Okay.
It's fucking hilarious. These kids were absolutely, literally.
Did you go in the van to town?
I don't know what we went in, but I went there and it was other Kish as well. You remember?
Yeah.
Dad's?
God, yeah.
He came through. Me and him shared a room, but we had food and stuff. They looked after us and we went out. We were drinking in the garage, I think, for a bit.
In the garage session. But normally you go to town in the van.
I don't know who dropped us at this point.
Depends how many boys there are. Like,
it was just the four of us.
Okay, fine.
But don't forget, we had to be up the next day for this Hindu whatever event, right? So yeah, it didn't go to plan anyway. But we went, I think it was Mars first or somewhere, and then we tried to get
honestly. Mars.
And then they took us to Fat Cats, right?
That's okay.
And I apparently wasn't dressed to get in.
Oh, did you wear trainers?
No, I was dressed fine. I just had like chinos on and a shirt, and apparently it wasn't dress worthy. And like Sham had to say to him, look, he's from London, he's come here.
I can imagine him giving a big speech.
Let us in on that. And then had a great night out there. Then I think we got paneer pizza.
Sounds about right.
And they pronounce paneer pizza. He's flipping jokers up there. Munched that. And on the way back, I don't know why these Muppets told mum and dad to close the gates.
Did you climb the gate?
We had to climb the gate.
Yeah, the standard.
It was dangerous, honestly. And we're all pissed at this point.
Yeah. Standard end of night proceedings. You have to climb the gate. Or one person climbs the gate and sorts it out.
And so I think that was last time I saw Sham. But obviously you possibly wouldn't have been there for that event.
No.
You graduated by then.
Yeah, I was in Essex.
So it would have been time.
It's been a long time.
Did
you come to our engagement drinks?
No, I couldn't.
Nikhil came, innit?
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't remember the date. I don't think I was available to make it. Nikhil did mention it because he asked me if I wanted to come along too.
Yeah.
There was a reason why I couldn't make it.
I haven't seen you probably since uni.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been like, what, 10 years?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We're getting old out here.
Oh my God. I actually feel so old thinking I haven't seen you in 10 years because it doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't. And you're not that much older than me, but it does feel weird.
But I am older than you.
You are older than me. But no, thank you for coming through and getting
Of course.
We're going to mix things up, obviously. And what I mean by that is, I know you've been on a number of podcasts. I really like the one you did with Shivani.
Yeah.
That was actually quite sweet. I don't like watch many podcasts, but like I normally just listen to them. I made sure I watched that one. It was quite cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Good. It was good to see that. And then I want to obviously not talk about stuff that you've already spoken about before.
Yes.
But give you the platform right now to get unfiltered about anything and everything. And we've had a conversation about certain things, but I'm going to let you obviously lead the line first. And what is it that you want to...
Of course. I guess maybe just like a brief introduction.
Go on then. Your intro.
For people that don't know me. So I'm Dulari. I am a single mum. Mm-hmm. I lost my husband 2 years ago. When I was 7 months pregnant. It was extremely sudden and unexpected. And I've just kind of been sharing my journey through the grief, through widowhood, through motherhood, to where I am now. And I share a lot of my feelings and my thoughts, my innermost thoughts, essentially, is what I share online with my Instagram followers. And with that, I found it was such a good outlet for me. But also, so many people reached out to me, and so many people were going through similar circumstances, if not the same, and found comfort in knowing that someone else feels what they feel. And that really encouraged me to explore my feelings more and understand my feelings more so that I could share it more authentically and more openly and help myself as well as other people.
Yeah.
So that's where my platform has come from. And I've come a long way in the last 2 years.
You have. Smashing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Well,
but
in some light, like give yourself some credit, give yourself some props. Like your singing is going on. Still working part time now, or is it full time?
like more or less full time. It's 4 or 5 days a week.
You locum?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Locum optometrist.
Yeah, she just had a go at me as well because I told her I haven't had like an eye test in like close to 20 years. They told me I had 20/20 vision, so, and my eyes have never like deceived me since. So I've just.
But you
run with it.
don't know that you're a typical patient.
I'm not a typical patient because I don't go there. Like what? Like I've had headaches when I've had like looking at a screen for too long, but I know it's like the blue light and stuff like that. Like you read into that kind of stuff, and so taking like breaks. And there was a time where I bought fake glasses to make it.
So essentially, what you're doing now is you're telling me the advice that you believe you require instead of asking a person who could give you the correct advice. But please continue.
No, like there was a point where I genuinely wanted glasses as well because I thought like it'd be quite cool, but I should possibly get my eyes tested.
You must get your eyes tested.
I will consider it. I will consider it.
I'll follow you up on this.
That should be. To be fair, everyone in my family, my mum, dad, and sister, all have glasses. All have to wear contacts. I've escaped it and been fine with it.
I'm telling you right now, you're going to go to the opticians for an eye test and you're going to need glasses.
Listen, when I play golf with all these uncles and they're like, "Can you see my ball down there?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I got you."
You might be long-sighted.
I'm also short-sighted too.
Okay, because you know it all, right?
I don't know it all. I'm just saying. I can
tell you. Okay,
read.
no, tell me.
Anyway, it's not meant to be a consultation. It's meant to be an episode on the podcast. Thanks for introducing yourself.
I feel like Shyam would have loved to be sitting
honestly,
here right now.
Honestly, he would.
He would be so excited to be here. He would have been like, "Give me my good side." I would have been fighting him for this chair.
No, he'd kick me out of this chair and make me sit back there most likely if I know him. Obviously, tragic event. Like I couldn't believe it when I heard the news. And for those who don't know, like. My first year at uni, and I say this for myself, but I'm also talking on behalf of one of my close friends as well. Our possible first year experience wouldn't have been the same without getting to know Shyam and his best mate Raj at the time. Honestly, an inspiration for us, like getting into the Hindu society, playing football, winning a competition he never could because obviously he just missed penalties and stuff like that. But such a breath of fresh air, lovely guy. I think we even went out a few nights out where you weren't invited or weren't allowed to tag along, and kid loved just smiling and dancing, and he had this little weird thing,
his little jig, the Shyam dance. Everyone knew the Shyam dance.
Absolute legend. And like drunk evenings where we would just talk shit and just pass on advice and stuff like that. Like a lot of love and respect for him and obviously Raj as well. That's my relationship with the lady over here.
That's why I had to keep you guys in check because you looked up to those two ladies so much.
I felt like you were bare like spiritual, religious, cultured, but
what do you mean but
I don't know.
Where is this going?
This girl used to sing Aarti and everything. And I used to be like, okay, hella like, okay, cool, respect.
I still sing the Aarti.
Do you every day?
Not every day, but I
How
still
often
can
do you do
sing it. I sing bhajans more often than I sing the Aarti.
Okay.
A while ago, we used to sing the Aarti every day in my house, and then as a family,
I do it every week, every Sunday. I used to do it on a Monday at 7 p.m. to like reminisce, but then I was like, I can't do that. It's long if I don't get home in time for it. But every Sunday I do an Aarti and I do a couple of bhajans as well every day.
Do you?
Yeah. What do you mean? Do I?
No, this is a shock
I'm
to me.
spiritual out here. Come on.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
I'm learning today.
Yeah, I'm a bit cultured. I don't know what it means, any of these bhajans, but I
You enjoy it?
Yeah, it's quite therapeutic. Obviously, speaking to Rima just now, saying like I pray and I do meditation, and she was like, "That's a form of yoga." I was like, "Okay, cool." But yeah, no, I do it. Yeah.
do you know what? We don't do it as much in my house anymore. It's carnage with 4 babies. Like, it's so hard to sit down. But growing up, it used to be like everyone would come to our house on a Friday, and we'd always do bhajans on Friday evenings. So yeah, I've literally grown up around it.
My grandparents used to do like a big thing every now and then, and we used to have to take them to this hall where all of these grandparents and aunties and uncles used to just sing for like hours upon hours doing their prayers and stuff. But like, since they're passing, for me, like, I was like, let me try and connect with them in this kind of way, and learning it, and just I enjoy doing it. So I just make.
Do you feel like it helped you?
It helps. It structured my routine where, like, this is very weird. I make up the rules in this religion that I kind of follow, which is my own religion, right? So I pray in English to begin with, and then I do these 2 Indian prayers, bhajans, for those who aren't cultured know what that means. I do that after. But like, I eat meat and stuff, right? I won't eat meat until I've prayed.
Okay.
So if I'm playing golf first thing in the morning and I haven't prayed yet, I'll make sure I come back, pray first, and then go.
Why? Why don't you eat meat until you?
I don't know. I just feel like it's my relationship with the man upstairs. You know, like, it's weird. I make it up. I don't know why. I just do. Like, I won't have a drink. There's been once where I have done it, or I just completely forgot. Oh shit, I haven't prayed yet. Damn. But it's just, yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. Like, I don't eat meat anyway, but I do drink. But I don't feel like there's like a certain rule book.
No, there isn't a rule book. No, it's apologies for everyone who is quite religious. It's bullshit, the religion that I'm meant to follow, because they just make stuff up, and people get at me and say you're not cultured, you're not traditional. I'm like, give me explanations why.
Yeah.
I would challenge everything back at uni. Tell me what? No sex before marriage. Tell me why. Where does it say that? Elaborate it. Like, I want to know. Tell me how am I meant to know? Like, is my relationship going to sustain? What if the sex is bad? I want to know this kind of stuff. Like, don't give me this shit. Like, oh my, that's just one topic. But yeah, I could take it down a tangent. But yeah, nah. I just do it because I feel like it works for me in my relationship with God. I don't know if it's right or wrong.
Well, there is no right and wrong, right? It's your own relationship, it's your own spirituality.
Yeah. It's weird though, because I if I'm playing golf early morning, I could possibly wake up, like, people are like, why are you waking up like 2 hours in advance? I'm like, bro, I got to do my morning routine first. You don't understand. Yeah, I make it work. It's funny when I stay, if I've got a wedding, we're staying somewhere, and me and my boy are staying together, I'm like, bro, just give me like an hour just to chill there.
Oh, you'll do it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, on a Sunday, I actually have to play them because I'm like, it's a bit more kind of like in harmony. It take a little bit longer to do it. So I'll go on YouTube, and Aston never had one, or I can't find one. I was always trying to find whether or not you had a version of you singing it. So I've got NHSF Warwick's version. Okay. Bro, the views that they've got on there right now, it's just me constantly just click and play every Sunday.
But that's sweet.
Yeah.
I feel really proud of you.
But no, yeah, I'm proud of me too. But let's get unfiltered. One of the things we wanted to touch base on was this new chapter of life you didn't ask for, but I'm not saying having to move with times, but obviously wanting to move with times, and it going down what's next for Dulari in regards to relationships and everything that comes on the back end of that.
I don't know what's next. That's the thing.
What do you want to be next?
What do I want to be next? I don't know, I think first and foremost, I want a peaceful life. Mm-hmm. I want to be truly happy. Mm-hmm. And I want to be a good mother. Mm. That's my main priority. I guess when people speak to me, dating always comes up. Like, it's always like a big topic. I'll be straight up. I've not dated anyone since Shyam passed away. I've not been in a relationship with anyone since Shyam passed away. But I have felt, I think earlier this year, I felt like maybe I'm open to it now. Because for quite some time after Shyam passed away, I still felt like I was in a relationship. Mm. Like, my relationship never ended. I didn't get any closure. Shyam just disappeared one day. So for the longest time, I felt like I was still in a relationship with him. But then there was like a really strange transition phase where I started feeling like I'm single. Mm. And that was really hard, because I felt really guilty.
I was going to ask you, like, is there guilt creeping in?
I no longer feel guilty, but I do remember feeling guilty. And I used to look at my wedding. So I don't wear my wedding rings. I used to look at my wedding rings and I used to wonder whether or not I should be wearing them, knowing fully well that it's my own choice and my own decision. But I was like, should I take them off? Should I not? I took my engagement ring off quite early because it's like, it could have hurt Ram as a small baby, like the diamond and whatever. So I stopped wearing that, but I was wearing the band.
Yeah.
And then something really weird happened. Like, I swear, honest to God, it started irritating my skin on my finger, and it started to become very uncomfortable, which had never happened before. And I spoke to my sister-in-law, Aditi Bhabhi, and I was like, it's annoying me. And she's like, maybe you should take it off now. And I was just like, yeah, maybe I should. So I took it off, and I think I've only worn it once or twice purposefully, like since that moment.
Do you think it's a sign?
I don't know, because I don't know how much I believe in signs.
Oh, fair enough. I'm bare superstitious.
So although I'd like to think like it would be a nice feeling to feel like it was a sign, if I'm truthful, I don't know how much I really believe in like signs and stuff. But maybe it could be.
I didn't know that you didn't wear your wedding ring anymore.
No. Such a beautiful ring.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's I don't want to say difficult, but it's a weird one to digest because it's like you said, you didn't ask for the situation and it's just happened, and now you're in this place right now, and you're probably in this place where, what do I do? And I like to think you don't care about what people would think, but an element of that probably creeps in.
I care less now,
Yeah.
but I cared a lot more before, especially as my Instagram platform grew.
Yeah.
Like it's all new, right, to me. And you go places and people recognize you, and it does change the way you think a little bit,
Yeah.
and the way you want to present yourself and the way you want to behave.
So who is Dulari? What's the perception you get?
What do people think when they think about who I am?
Yeah.
I had this conversation with Rav. I think people think I'm like a very, very good girl, like very religious. Don't make that face.
Very good girl.
This is what people think.
Fuck up.
This is what
You
people
this one.
think.
Get out of here.
Genuinely, this is
Get out of here.
people don't know me like you guys. Like I've
Listen,
known you from day
even
one.
with shout, get out of here, get the fuck out of here.
Nah, even you were saying you remember me.
Yeah, no, I thought I was scared of you though.
Why were you scared of me?
Just because you just seem like someone who like would tell people off if we went really out of line. So
Yeah, I'll say it how it is.
yeah. Anyway, carry on. So you're just good girl kind of perception, all of that. There you go. Go on.
Yeah, good girl, family orientated, homely. I am all of those things, but I'm also so much more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm also a bit crazy. I love to have a great time with my family, with my friends. I like to party. I like to do so many different things. I love to sing, I love to dance.
It's weird you don't think that people see that initially though, because if I try and think about what my perception of you is someone who's very adventurous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that.
I know you're now not very spiritual at all.
What? I am.
No, but I feel like you're very kind and warming. But like, I don't know, how long did you go traveling for?
So Shyam and I backpacked in 2019. We did 3 months in India, Sri Lanka, and then we did 3 months in South America.
Yeah. It's very adventurous, and it looked like you lot had a great time trying different things, and like, yeah, I think I remember a video recently where him getting a haircut in India. He was very sus about it.
He was not enjoying that haircut.
So, I'd say I could see that side of you, definitely, for sure.
Do you know what? Honestly, that was all Shyam.
Yeah.
I never wanted to go traveling. It was never my plan. It was never my
perception
idea.
is wrong then. You're not adventurous at all.
No, I am.
Oh, okay.
I took it on board. I embraced it, but it was never my thing.
Yeah.
I was like, take me to the Maldives. But he was like,
Hell no.
He was like, no, I'll take you to Sri Lanka. That's as close as you're getting.
Do you not go on a train as well?
Yeah. Candy to Ella. It's a famous train journey where you can like hang out the train. But this was all Shyam. This is what I'm saying. He wanted to travel for like, it's always been something that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it was his plan. He made the plan. He did it all. I was just there for the journey. I was like, look, you want to do it? Let's do it. I back you. And I would help him plan things along the way. Like we would literally, every time we went, we booked our flights out and our first hostel and then everything we booked as we went.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a relaxed person. I'm really laid back. So I'm really easy to travel with, which is what he enjoyed. And he's really organized. So he was like doing all the planning. So that's why it worked.
Okay.
But we went to all the places that he wanted to go to. The only like input I had was when we went to Mexico for like a party basically at the end of the trip. I was like, I want to let loose before we go home. But everything else was all him.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I'm down for whatever.
Fair. Okay, cool. So this perception of you is that you're homely, warming, etc. All of that stuff. But there is more to you that people don't get to see as often, or you don't possibly put out there.
I feel like before, people didn't know much about me, but I think now, people know a lot more about me because I'm so candid with my Instagram.
Yeah,
I feel like I am. Anyway.
You are. Yeah.
So I think people do get to know me a lot better. I think what you don't get to see on my Instagram is my hard moments.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't actually share them with many people, including my family. Like if I'm having a bad day, I kind of just like to be by myself and I shut down.
I respect that, but do you do that because you don't want pity?
Yes, and I don't want to give anyone else pain. People feel pain when I feel pain, and I don't want to project.
Isn't that a bit negative though?
Well, it is and it isn't, because I feel like I'm quite self-aware, and to a degree I can understand when it's time for me to process my emotions. And I feel like I have learnt a few different ways that I like to do that. And I can do that on my own. So if I'm able to manage that, if I'm able to do that, then why bring someone else down in the process?
I hear what you're saying. This is something that I speak to a lot of clients about, and it's like this kind of like people pleasing kind of mindset. Like we don't want to inflict pain, we don't want to be a burden to anyone else, so we'll just hold it down and keep it all locked away. But the truth behind it is that you're possibly doing yourself further damage once they find out and eventually realize that shit, you were suffering for that long. Damn, why didn't you just say? Yeah,
but it's not like that for me, because I'm never suffering for that long, because I post on my Instagram. I like to write my thoughts down, and I'll tell you why. I don't have to have a conversation with anyone. No one turns around and says, Dulari, I'm so sorry you're feeling like this. I'll get a like and I'll get a love heart in the comment and whatever, but I don't have to have that conversation with someone where someone's feeling sorry for me. But I can vent and I can say how I'm feeling, and my parents see it, my brothers see it, and they're like, oh, I didn't know you were feeling that way. Like, is there anything I can do? Or do you want to go out to the pub? Do you want to go for a drink? Do you want to do this? And they offer me something. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, let's go for a drink. Or they won't even offer me. They'll be like, oh, we're all going for a round, come, let's go. And everyone kind of does their bit. To be honest, there is, like, I have got my one person that I confide in 100% about every single detail of my life. That person was Shyam. And there was like a running joke, because Shyam and my sister-in-law Aditi Bhabi are very, very similar people. They've got like almost the same birthday as well, 2nd of Jan, 3rd of Jan. They have the same likes, dislikes, the same way they like to speak to people, personality traits. And she is like my little dose of Shyam every day. And she's my best friend.
Fine.
And I will literally confide in her every single time. She'll look me in the eye and know that something's up, and she'll know whether or not I want to talk about it.
Fine, fair. That's fair. That's good. At least you have a outlet then. That's fair enough. But going back into this whole dating kind of field right now, you said that you haven't dated and you've felt elements of guilt. Now you don't. What is it that you said you want a peaceful life, a chilled life? You could be a great mum. What does that include?
I don't know if it includes another person right now in my mind, because I just feel like, we've had this conversation, but I just feel like 2023 ain't it.
Oh yeah, no, dating's fucked in general. Let's be honest. But I can understand it from your perspective, looking into it. Like, you haven't had to date anyone for like the last, I don't know how long you lot are going up before.
We started
first
dating in 2012.
Over 11 years. This is very, very new, and your circumstances possibly throw a spanner into the works, which make it even a bit more difficult.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a lot of time wasters out there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm busy.
But then it's more of a case of like, weave through those time wasters. Everyone who talks about dating on this podcast, I try to educate them, like, if someone's not giving you exactly what you're really looking for, thank them for their time, but just leave it aside. What people don't do is we get attached to it. We keep trying to create a conversation, try and make something work because they show signs of some sort of promise, but it's a recipe for disaster, right?
Yeah. And
I'll tell a girl straight up, if you're not feeding me the energy I want right now, it's cool, respectfully, do what you got to do, but I kind of know my worth and I know what I bring to the table, so go do what you want to do. You can come chat to me later, but I can't promise I'll be available. And leave it as that. Say less. What can you say to me on the back end of that? Literally, what can you say on the back end of that?
no, you can't. No, it's a good way to do it, but I just don't know if I'd...
What are you fearful of? Because you mentioned time wasters. I feel like you're
I'm fearful of the fact that I might catch feelings and get hurt. Like, I've been so hurt, like,
yeah,
and I'm just like, is it even worth it? And I guess probably I've not deeped this properly, but if I'm thinking about it honestly, if I find something really, really nice and really special with someone who adores me the way that Sham adored me and loved me, like he loved me with all of his heart.
yeah.
That disappeared in a second. Who's to say that won't happen again?
And I think this is the scary part of life, and I never like having conversations with people who are suffering from grief, because I deal with it in a very, very different way. In terms of, I have felt my first real feel for it was when my granddad passed away, and it was like trying to like get through it, and I was quite emotional at the time, and then I could see my cousins and stuff still very, very affected by it. And for me, I realized, like, after a few days, shit, life is still going on. I still need to go to work. Like, I can grieve and I can be chilled with it, but I still need to get through my exams.
Yeah.
I told him I was going to pass these exams. I still got to do it. I've got to continue with my relationship. And it's shitty when you think of it like that, but life does go on. So it's a case of like, we don't know what event's going to arise. It's how we just come back from it and just keep trying to move forward, right? Your situation is very different because you've got a little one in the mix as well, right?
And that's going to obviously like affect me whenever I choose to start dating, because there are going to be people that do not want to date someone who's got a child.
That's fine. Weave them out.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, like, it doesn't faze me that much, but it's just like, I'm an overthinker, right? So I'll think everything through so much.
Do you think, and I don't know whether or not you find this as a challenge, but do you think people would find it challenging in regards to how deeply invested your relationship was with Sham?
I think people might be...
And feel like second best? Because we touched base on this on
yeah, I think it would be like intimidating for someone. But I'm not here trying to find another Sham. I'm not trying to find a replacement for Sham. I'm actually not trying to find anything. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm just open to one at this stage. But I'm aware that I'm not looking for a replacement, or it's not going to be a replacement. If I make a connection with someone, it's going to be like completely separate, and it will be starting from scratch. I'll be building a connection with someone.
Can you see how that can be challenging from a guy's perspective?
Yeah, I think you'd have to be extremely secure in yourself to date someone like me, knowing that I never stopped loving Sham. I never broke up with Sham. He never broke up with me. I will always love him, and he will always be the father of my child. But I know me, and I know I have still got a lot of love to give. And without sounding almost rude, I feel like I bring a lot to the table.
Oh, for sure. No, back yourself, girl. Come on, man. What are you on about?
So I'm just like, I'm not in any rush to find something that isn't worth my time.
Yeah. I can understand it from your perspective as well. Like, there's been time there, and the process you've gone through. An element of some sort of company would be great, and sometimes we can find that. I tell my clients this, that we don't have to find a partner if we're not in the right mindset for it. Like you can't force a relationship. You've got to let it happen on its own accord, especially when you are free from all the shit that's still holding you back, once you've healed from all the trauma that's still creeping up. You have family, friends, and other people as outlets you can definitely use in that meantime, but don't try and rush it. So I get where you're coming from, and I can appreciate when the time feels right for you, that you may want to have someone there to start scratch with and continue life with in a different avenue. But it must be like, and excuse my language, fucked up as well, because you're probably I don't know what you're probably thinking, but in my head I think a lot of overthinking and what people's opinions and judgment and all that, albeit I don't give a shit right now what a lot of people say about me, it possibly would be there subconsciously somewhere, just tucked away. It would make me feel a certain way about like who I could date, who I could bring home. Does that person need to have a child as well and be in a similar situation for it to all be understood? Or like,
I feel like initially, like I did think all of those things. Like I'm gonna have to, whenever I decide I'm gonna have to settle, I'm gonna have to like just adjust, and go for whoever will take me. Like, which I do not feel that way now.
Yeah, bun that.
Yeah, I don't feel that way. I've come a long way, and like you have to remember, like back then I was self-loathing so much. And when you're self-loathing, when you're not loving yourself, like you're not going to see the best for yourself. You're always going to think that you're not good enough, and I did think that. But I'm learning how to love myself again, and I feel like I do bring a lot to the table, and the right person at the right time will come along. And if they don't, then that's fine.
I want to ask you a question that possibly people have asked you. I'm not sure if I've heard it on a podcast anyway. If Sham was here right now, what do you think he would tell you to do?
I think he would tell me to start dating.
Yeah, I think he would too.
You know, we had a running joke. I used to say to him that I don't want to be alone ever. So I was like, I'm gonna die first. I was like, I'll kick the bucket about 70. I feel like I'll have a good run, live a good life.
How you just say this? Actually, I don't want to laugh.
I used to say this to him. I'm like, I'm gonna check out about 70. You guys go find yourself a nice 40-year-old girlfriend. You live your best life, but do not leave me here alone. Yeah. I'm going first. Yeah. And he used to laugh, and literally like the complete opposite happened.
Yeah, I feel like if he was around, he wouldn't want to see you in a place where you couldn't be the Dulari he spent all his time with. That smile, that gleam. Not that it's not present right now, but like
it's different.
Yeah, I think the vibe I got from him was he always wanted other people to be happy and always like put other people first kind of thing. So I feel like he would want his son to have a life that he possibly wasn't able to have, but at the same time like have all of that luxury of loving parents, people around, great energy, and not feel like the burden of him not being there kind of thing, like weigh people down. So again, I'm speaking for someone I knew for a period of time, but he was like a breath of fresh air to me personally. So I feel like if he was here, he'd possibly tell you that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he would want all of those things.
They'd probably tell you, what are you waiting for? What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe not swear, but I don't know.
He'd be like, come on, dolls. Come on, dolls. What are you doing? Yeah, he probably would. I think he'd be proud of me. I think he'd be quite sad if we wind back about a year.
Yeah.
If we wind back about a year, I think he'd just be sad watching me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If he saw me now,
I think this come up from what I've seen of you personally, and I can only see it through social media, right? Because I've established we ain't seen each other for like 10 years. But like, I've seen a growth in terms of, I know you used to sing, but I see a bit more confidence with you now actually doing it and now doing events.
Yeah.
You know, putting yourself in an uncomfortable scenario.
Yeah.
I can see a bit more joy you're having at home with your family.
Yeah.
With the other little ones. Your relationship with your son just keeps getting more happier and happier. I don't know how people do it. Like, I need to have a private conversation with mums and etc. because my cousin and my niece and nephew. I don't know how she does it, but yeah, that's a story for another day. But you seem like you definitely are growing every day, which is great to see.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to know that you genuinely are feeling that way and there isn't anything missing.
I do feel like I'm growing every day. I do feel like there's so much missing. And I think this year has been really hard because so much has changed in my life. The singing at Love Fest. I sang in February, got flown to Mumbai, sang at Love Fest in Mumbai. I'm singing at Love Fest again this August.
Did you go to Dubai as well?
Yeah, we went to Mumbai and Dubai.
I think one of the girls you went with, I used to follow her on Instagram, and she's a friend of a friend of mine.
Talia?
Yeah. Coutinho.
Yeah.
That surname. Football surname. Anyway, Karen, sorry.
Yeah, so I think that... Do you know what it is? You know, back at the start, I knew everything was awful.
Yeah.
And it can only get better, albeit slowly. Then when things start to get better, it comes in waves.
Yeah.
And you go up and you go down. And like I said, I feel like I'm quite self-aware. And I know it's when it's going up, I know it's going to come down. But I feel like the start of this year went so high up.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of this stuff that was happening was like, I would never have thought it, even like if Shyam was here, I would never have thought someone would come and approach me and say, I want to fly you to Mumbai to sing at my event that I'm holding.
Yeah. But it's crazy though, like these things possibly maybe wouldn't have arisen. Maybe the lifestyle would have been completely different.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been in London.
No, I would have been in Leicester.
Maybe would you have had these kind of connections that you have right now?
No, I've made an abundance of new friends. I've met so many new people through social media.
Yeah.
Who are some of them are like my closest friends. I speak to them every day.
Yeah.
But lately I've dropped a bit. I've been struggling. Struggling
with what?
I've been struggling with just trying to figure out what my life is meant to look like. I had it all planned out. I'm a serial overthinker. I had a massive plan. This was never part of the plan. I would probably be pregnant right now or have another child. We wanted to have kids quite close together. I've got baby names still that we chose together. We wanted to have, like Shyam really wanted to have a girl. Like I've got a name that I used to write on my lectures at uni that I loved.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. I planned my whole life out with Shyam. And it disappeared. So although I understand that it's never coming back, I feel like when I get minor setbacks in my growth, it's really hard to cope with it because I just think this should never have happened. And I'm like, how do I make it better? How do I rectify it?
In those situations, it's like, I know when I speak to people, the easy thing for them to rant, and I hope I get them to rant, is why me? Like, why am I being punished? I'm a great person. I've done this. I'm get it out your chest. Fully let go of all of this anger you're holding down. At the same time, when you get to a place, it's a case of you. Every circumstance is different, right? I've had people who have been, I have spoken to through coaching who have been physically abused, right? And it's scary to think, and I'm not judgmental, but like, how can their journey continue if you've gone through something so traumatic on that front, right? But the question is, life goes on, and it's how do you put yourself in a position to think, what, like, how do you go from being why me and being like feeling down and quite shit about what's happened to then flipping the script and looking at, okay, cool, my path didn't go to plan. Well, what I wanted hasn't gone to plan, but the journey continues. We've just taken we're going down a different route. And it's a case of everything that you're saying right now in terms of what you wanted can still happen, just in a different light now.
Yeah.
Not maybe the way you initially planned it to. And this is why it's sad for me to say this, but I tell every client as well, we can't have expectations. That's what we do at times. We plant so many expectations, and when they get taken away from us, even on like the smallest scale, like trying to pass an exam, if you expect you're going to pass and you don't, no one ever plans what happens on the back end of that. Enjoy the moment, be present, but work towards things. And like you said, you had names written down. There's no reason why you still can't have a baby girl. In your head, you're possibly thinking it might not be with the person I wanted it with, but that story can still continue, just in a different light. What would Sham be saying if he was looking down at you right now? Woman, listen, it might not be mine, but listen, you need to have a girl. It's like Ram needs to have a sister kind of thing. Like, you hear what I'm trying to say?
No, he would want everything and more for me, as I would for him if roles were reversed. But I
get it's not easy. I can't begin to imagine what it's like in being in your shoes right now.
I think what's difficult is for me is I never had to question how much to trust someone.
Yeah.
I never had to question that because I was never in a situation, and I always had my person. Like, I had my best mate with me everywhere. We were that irritatingly loved up couple that did everything together and were happy to do everything together.
Yeah.
And so, like, I would be in a situation that he would see from an outside perspective, and he would back me if I needed it. And we would talk about it after and be like, this person was being sly with you and this is what they did, and vice versa. So, like, we were a team. And now I'm just like, I think I feel like maybe I'm a little bit too trusting, and I need to just put my guards up a little bit. Like,
I feel like that might be a bad thing though, and this is just dropping an opinion into it, because it's like now you want to try and set up a boundary for something that worked for you so well, and it's the fear that's creeping in that's making you think, shit.
Yeah, Priyesh.
Come on. Don't ever at me, girl. I know what I'm talking about. The fear's creeping in, right? Okay. That worked for you so well. Like you just said right now, from 2012 till 2020.
Yeah.
Something wasn't breakable. The question that comes up, and it's like, you don't need to change something that's not broken. It wasn't broken. That works for you. The fear is now what happens if it gets taken away and the pain that comes with it. Have you had like counselling or therapy on the back end of this?
So I was offered counselling.
For NHS?
Initially, yeah. So I went through the motions. I spoke to, they said like, call the GP, speak to the GP. I spoke to the GP. And unfortunately, the GP that I spoke to at the time, I felt wasn't well equipped to have the conversation.
100%, yeah.
I led the entire conversation. Given that my husband had passed away probably 4 days prior, I led the entire conversation, and I left that conversation feeling like I have nothing to gain from this. And I was also very, very, very angry at this stage. And I thought that I wasn't ready to receive. I think if you go to something like counselling or therapy, you need to be open and ready to receive. And I wasn't in that space. And so I didn't.
No, timing is always important.
And I haven't ruled it out.
Yeah.
But I have not yet had any counselling or therapy. I feel like I look inside and look to myself and I make changes personally that I feel like help me along my journey.
Of course.
And whenever I feel like that's not enough and that I need more support, I'll look into it. But right now, I think I'm doing okay. No,
and like, I can't speak for therapists out here and counsellors because I'm not one, but as a coach, I'll tell you straight up, no one out here in this position will tell you what to do. You're going to make your own decisions on the back end of what you feel is right for you. So all a therapist, a counsellor, a coach, their job, in my eyes, should be designed to just help aid you and possibly steer you away from decisions that you know aren't serving you. So what you've just said to me right now, that it's a case of like, it's the fear that's stopping you from possibly going back to a place which you know works so well. That fear is going to stay there.
I'm also like more focused on building a life now. Like, I need to build a life for
Understandably, but again, that fear is possibly going to weave into other areas of your life you won't realize. So when you say to me, when we were speaking before, like you were scared about singing Rav's previous event
at the last Love Fest,
was it her catwalk? Or
she had a catwalk there, yeah, and I was singing, yeah.
The fear may transition into your relationship with your son. You won't see it right now, but later down the years in life, it may creep up until you make peace with that fear. And it's difficult for me to say because I'm not in your shoes.
Yeah.
But I can only say right now, once you've got past that stage where it doesn't hold you back, can you possibly start doing the things you would like to continue doing again?
I don't know if I'm like scared to date or...
No, you're scared to lose. You're scared to lose someone. You're scared to go through everything you went through again. In your head, you think it's going to happen again and that you're unlucky. You got dealt a bad hand, which was so great to begin with. But the truth is, like, life had a...
Right. It was so great.
It looked great. I won't even lie to you. This is going to sound hella cringe as well. But like at uni, looking at your relationship was something that I kind of went with. Obviously, the girl I was seeing at the time. It was quite cute. Even Sham's brother and his wife, like at the time, boyfriend and girlfriend. It was cute to see what was possible. And it's not like that can't happen again. That's what you're failing to see. Because I'll tell you right now, there's a guy possibly in your shoes with a young daughter and a young son, possibly feeling the exact same way. And wants to find someone who's not necessarily gone through exactly what he's gone through, but someone who understands that. Because he had something so great got taken away from him that he didn't ask for either.
Yeah. Possibly. You never know.
In due course, when the time's right. Obviously, there is a process. I can't tell you how long it's going to take for you to be fully equipped to say, I'm ready to go back to that level of happiness I had once upon a time. You may never want to go back there again, and that's totally fine. But if you've identified how great it was, that can still happen again. Obviously not with the same person, but that feeling could still happen again. And I reckon if the man was here right now, he'd be telling you the same thing. D, you know you can... Look, I know I'm one of a kind, but you definitely could find another version of me somewhere out there. Believe me.
Oh, that boy.
But obviously it comes down to whenever it feels right.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there are lots of really good guys out there. I make it sound like everyone's awful, but there are probably lots of good guys.
Just for the cameras, I'm a great guy out here,
There probably are some good guys out there, but there's so many time wasters. There's so many people that just... I feel like also people don't know what they want nowadays.
Of course.
Oh my God.
You're one of them.
People are so confused. Excuse me.
You don't know what you want.
I don't know if I want anything.
Exactly. So you don't know what you want.
No, I'm just like, that's me. That's me not even joining dating apps. That's me not even saying yes to dates. You think I've not been asked on dates? I just haven't been on any.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. No, I hear what you're saying. There is and this is the problem when it comes to, it shouldn't really be classed as a problem, but there's so many options nowadays to when there was before. Back in the day, it was MSN or Facebook, or you'd easily ask someone out, and if you got rejected, you just move on to the next person. It wasn't that difficult. Whereas right now, there's so many options. It clouds with our insecurities and et cetera, et cetera. If someone doesn't respond to you, you feel like you've been ghosted, and it's like, oh my God, I spent a whole week speaking to you. Yeah, and get on with it. But it's easy for someone to say that if you are seriously looking for something, right?
Yeah, I think that's where I've decided to kind of take the pressure off, because like I said, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm open to one.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was looking for something serious last year. I was trying to manifest Bay, and it was kind of going to plan. So I just shut everything off, and things were working out. And then that had to just it took a turn, and it is what it is.
Okay.
And like right now, I was like going through ups and downs in regards to, I still want Bay by the end of this year, but going on these last 2 holidays, I feel a lot more, I don't know if euphoric's the right word, but so much more relieved. Like I feel like there's no pressure to do anything right now.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying myself, and I'm just playing golf and feeling the reason why I play golf, because it's therapeutic. I'm going gym because I want to, not because I have to. If I want to go on a date, I will. If I want to speak to this girl, I will. And yeah. I'm just letting it happen naturally. I just don't care as much, and I feel like all of that pressure before was possibly getting to me.
Yeah. And this is a better place to be.
Oh, of course.
And I feel like this is where I am. Like, I'm not like, I need a person, I need this, I need that. But there's obviously lots of interest. Like, you've probably got lots of interest as well.
Hey. She said that, not me. Gang.
Yes, Priyesh, you're a very good looking boy. I'm sure there's lots of ladies that are interested. But yeah, like, there is interest for me as well, surprisingly. But I just don't feel the pressure.
Yeah. I feel like when the time is right and you want to, don't want to say entertain those conversations, but start this different chapter, possibly when you'll be able to just knock out the numpties and generally start conversations. Don't get me wrong. Like if we had to wheel back for when you and Sham first met, yeah, and like you said, you got together in your final year.
End of second year.
End of second year. So there was an element of first year where you were doing what you were doing, he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, like
right?
we crossed paths once or twice.
Exactly, right? So in that period of time, have you had boyfriends in the past before?
Yeah.
Exactly. So like relationships can arise, and it's all due to timing, I suppose. And I think what I'm trying to get at is you and Sean may not have happened if you were at different unis. You know, none of this stuff would ever have got into place if the way the world worked just connected. And I feel like with you right now, when the time is right, you will possibly be able to find someone if you really want to go down that route. If you don't want to go down that route, you don't.
I think I'm just quite guarded, because like I have to think about Ram.
Yeah, of course.
And like there could be a situation, for example, where I get along really well with someone per se. We click, everything's perfect. But Ram doesn't like the person.
Fair. Now, let me ask you this right now before you continue, because I grilled... well, I didn't grill Rima. We went into this kind of conversation.
Okay.
And we talked about kids as well. If Ram and this new person didn't click right and it caused a bit of friction, etc., your initial decision would be to just sack that off because it's my son, right? Could you still be your best person if this person right now brought out the version that Sean brought out in you?
No, I couldn't. I couldn't, because my main priority is the happiness of my child. So whether or not this person brought out any type of Dulari that I may have loved, if I'm not looking at my child and thinking he's living his best life and he's happy and feels loved and feels like he's part of a family, then I wouldn't feel like my best self. So
let me reword that then. So let's create the scenario where Ram isn't happy with you and this new person, fine. But that new person brings out a side of you which has been very, very locked away for a while now. And you get to be your authentic self and be the best mom you can be just based on this missing piece.
If it's something that could be worked on, if it's something that I could understand, like if I could understand how Ram's feeling and if it could be improved, then yeah. But I'm going to be real, like he comes first.
Yeah. I love having this conversation with mums because it's like, it's so interesting to how, and I'm not a father yet, so I wouldn't know, but like how much of a sacrifice we can make. Like I know how much sacrifice my mum and dad have gone to personally, but I know there are times where they're like, nah man, that's your grandparents' problem. They're going to deal with you for the summer holidays. That's you got. And
do you know what it is? Like never in a million years would I have imagined that I would go through what I have been through.
Yeah, exactly.
But look at me. I'm okay. I'm doing it. I'm getting through every day. I'm surviving. I'm working my way towards thriving, given everything I've been through. So if I found the perfect guy for me who brought out everything that I would want in myself, in my personality, but it didn't work with my son, do you not think that I could stop that in the drop of a hat and still live my best life, build myself back up,
100%.
Considering what I've been through?
Yeah. I'm not disputing that. I think what I'm trying to get at is there's this emphasis that these are clients I've spoken to as well, in terms of they need to be the best version of for their children. And what gets me thinking is if we can't be because we're stressed based on careers or relationships or whatever it is, if we're not happy right now, like I'm not an advocate for divorce. Like I hate the whole concept of a couple breaking up. If that mum or that dad can't be their best self for their children because of the relationship they're in, then they know they can provide endless love or whatever it is they want to talk about by being away from their partner, Like, you have to think twice about what's going to serve you, because if you're going to turn up home in a strop every day because you just can't stand the person you're with, or in your situation there's an element where you feel alone or lonely, and you're missing that companion or whatever, like, that's going to be a knock-on effect to your child eventually later on in life. And what people don't see initially in this moment in time is, what lesson is that going to teach Ron when he's older in regards to
self-sacrifice?
Yeah. And in terms of, mum always taught me that I need to be the best version of myself and provide that to other people, because she's always done that for me, right? But she had to sacrifice something first and wasn't completely happy.
Do you know what? And this is why I am doing my best to find a balance.
Yeah.
This is why I'm trying to bring the old me back and do things that I love. This is why I'm doing the singing for me. This is why I'm doing the social media stuff for me. Like, this is something that's helping me feel like the old Dulari.
Yeah.
I know the old Dulari's gone and she's never coming back, but somewhat feeling like how I used to feel. And I have that time for me, as well as I have the time that I dedicate to my child. And I feel like if I didn't do that, I would be so lost. And I feel like I would feel like I've lost myself. A lot of mothers feel like that anyway when they have kids. They feel like they lose themselves and they've lost their own identity, and all they are is mum. And I was quite aware that I didn't want to be in that situation, because I thought I would just fall into depression with everything around me, with the fact that I'm so lonely. Like, I am so lonely. Like, with that, if I felt like I was losing myself as well, I thought there's no chance I'd be able to be a good mum or a good person. So I feel guilty when I do the stuff that I do for me, but I also know that it's all relevant and it's all relative.
And I think when you get past the stage of it feeling like guilt, and you acknowledge that it's serving the people around you, will you then start to realize that, shit, I shouldn't be putting off more stuff that's going to serve me? And what I mean by that is, if you going to a Pilates class every week is giving you a sense of clarity, if you going to do yoga or going to the gym or going out for a drink with your friends every Friday night because it's your chill time,
downtime,
if that's serving you come Saturday when you wake up and you're able to provide endless energy to the people around you, surely that's a better version of you than forcing yourself to stay in and like waking up in a grump or in a mood, because it naturally will affect us, right?
Yeah, you'll feel like you're missing out and you're not.
I'll tell my parents now, and I'm glad they used to do it when they were young, thinking about it, because my parents were animals and they still are. They go out endlessly, and like I will always be like, you lot going out this weekend, what are you doing, kind of stuff. Make sure you like enjoy yourself. And there's times where I used to say to them, you lot go out too often, but now looking back on it right now, I'm glad you're able to do that, because what that tells me is that you're allowing me to be me at home. You give me a free yard to do what I like. At the same time, you're giving that smile corrected. Oh, I'm a good boy. That being said, like, they used to do this when we were young, so we used to go to our grandparents. Now, if they never did that and were constantly with us all the time, imagine like the backlash that would have happened if my dad felt, shit, man, you lot made me, I couldn't do this and that because I had kids. Yeah, no, Dad, you had a responsibility, but I'm glad you had outlets where you could possibly give us to my Bapaji to just look after us, so you could still have that element of fulfillment and still be able to do the things that serve you. Because by the time we come home, if you're in a grump or in a mood, that's not helping our relationship.
Yeah.
But I could come back at 7 o'clock and me and you are playing football in the house, kicking the ball around, slide tackling and all sorts. That possibly would never have happened if you felt you had to do a lot more shit and you couldn't pass that stuff on. So in your situation right now, I do feel like when the time is right, when that guilt disappears, you'll be in a better state of mind. Like, I would never, and this is like when I'm in a relationship, I'm never going to stop watching Man United play football. I don't care. All right. I will plan a wedding around when United are playing. I'll hopefully try and do it in the summer because I know there's no football then. Right? Just to avoid it, because that's my time where I just need to be alone. But if I watch the game,
you say alone. Have you not thought that your partner might enjoy watching it?
Oh, of course, yeah, they come along. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, that's gang. I don't mind that. As long as you have a similar interest.
I used to do that with Shyam.
Yeah, if you have a similar interest, cool. Unfortunately, the girls I seem to like meet are like, what do you like about football? I don't get it. I'm like, just stay over there. I'll speak to you after the game. I'll put my phone away. That's how bad it is. Golf, just me in the golf course. If you love golf as well, sick. If you love the gym, I'm there with you. But obviously, if we have different interests, cool, sick. But like, I refuse to feel guilty for doing something which puts a smile on my face and makes me feel a lot better. Because if I do that more often and I allow myself to feel guilty, I'm gonna turn up in a strop and in a mood and not worthy enough. Fuck that shit.
I hear what you're saying and I agree with you. But I also feel like I find it a little bit hard to relate when I think about the relationship I had, because for the most part, we really enjoyed doing everything together. And like, okay, golf, for example, golf. I hate golf. I just can't do it. But I tried so many times. I went and I was like, do you know what? You love golf, Sham. Let me give it a go. Let me try it with you. And I tried. And then I was just like, do you know what? It's not for me. I can't do this.
It's not for a lot of people.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, we always felt like we wanted to do stuff together.
Yeah.
Like, every time he was going out with the boys, I mean, I didn't go every time, but every time he was going out with the boys, he's like, do you want to come? Because all his guy mates were my mates.
Yeah, that's it. And that's a nice place for it to be. But with your relationship with your son and your family, like, getting rid of that guilt to be able to do the things that you would do. Like, you're here right now, right? Possibly may not have happened if you were looking after the little one. But we could have put him on the sofa and let him play around and just make sure the mics they were turned off if necessary.
Be a very different podcast.
Yeah, it'd be a very different podcast. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if we stop ourselves from doing the things that we kind of want to do in that moment in time, we possibly go to sleep with an element of regret, thinking to ourselves.
You think about it very differently to the way I think about it, because you don't have the same level of responsibility.
I 100% hear you. I hear you. I have this conversation with my cousin all the time with our two little ones. I'm like, I don't know how you have this level of patience. It's like, I think you deserve a medal for what you're doing right now, because these two are flipping nutcases at times. They demand your attention. Like, but obviously when the time comes, I possibly will, my mindset may change.
Yeah, I think it will.
But I feel like I will also stay grounded to the boundaries I've set up, in terms of, if I know I need some peace of mind, I can't play 4 hours of golf, but maybe an hour just at the range or something.
But so when you feel like you need this, you can arrange your day in a way that fits in what you want to do.
Yeah, of course.
When I feel like I want to go and do something for me, I require assistance. I need to ask someone to look after my child on the weekend. Like, even if I get a babysitter in, like, it will be like someone's at home as well. Like,
yeah.
So I'm asking for someone to give up their time so that I can have my time.
I hear what you're saying. I think the better thing to do then is just ask whether or not they enjoy that first, to see whether or not you're actually...
Oh no, it's never
because we got thrown over to my next door neighbour, and it's the reason why she's tattooed on my arm. She loved us. We just pop over there and my parents be like, where the fuck have they gone? Just see us next door cooking or whatever, just chilling there.
Yeah.
Like, it was our second home.
No, they love it. They love to look after, like, my parents, my brothers, my hubbies. They love to look after like, I love to look after all of the kids as well. But loving it and it being tiring and exhausting, they're two different things.
I hear you.
So yeah, of course I'm gonna feel an element of guilt if I'm off living my best life with my friends. I'm going out with Rav somewhere, doing some influencer event or whatever, having the best time, and I'm just like, well, I have asked someone to give up their time so that I can do this.
It'll all come back. It'll all, like, the way it'll work around. Like, you'll want to do that in due course as well, and help them out. By the way, look, D, I'm gonna have to cut this short because unfortunately we're getting closer to our time in the studio, but this was a very, very good conversation. I didn't think it'd go like this, personally.
I didn't think it'd go like this.
I thought it would be a lot more I don't want to say the word juicy, but like go down a completely different line in regards to dating. But I think we've had a very emotional kind of like what's the words, like structured conversation in a way where it's actually been like quite respectful, actually hearing some of the things you're coming from. You've had a bit of coaching with Priya as well come through.
I feel like you've had a bit of coaching with me.
It's been sick. For everyone who listens to this, where's the best place that they can get in contact with you in regards to you?
Yeah, my DMs are open on Instagram, so @_Dulari.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're going through something or you want to speak about stuff, like please feel free to message me. I am slow at replying, but I am replying.
And she's also going to recommend, if you haven't got your eyes tested like me, go get your eyes tested, because
yeah, get your eyes tested, people. Like every 2 years, it's not hard.
Don't do me and do 20 years and get tested. But no, big thank you for coming through.
Of course,
Always love on my behalf, and yeah, thank you. Thanks again for listening. It's been your boy Uncle Pre. It's always a pleasure to be in the studio and record with my guests. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and if you like stuff like this, please do like, comment and subscribe. It helps me take the podcast to a place where I can definitely bring in more people that are going to resonate with you, whether it's their stories, whether it's their journey, whether it's just something that they're going through right now. So definitely like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, much appreciated you staying in here. I love everyone that comes through, and I love all the comments and feedback that I get, so keep that coming through. And yeah, it's been your boy Uncle Pre, and I'm signing out. Peace.